Okay, so I found this arm swing on Instagram, and this guy is an indoor player, obviously, but he swings it the same way I coach it, and very similar to David Oman of the Swedish team, in that he really doesn't have excessive elbow drive. In fact, he has hardly any elbow drive once he starts to attack the ball, okay? So if you watch this, now this guy jumps really high, obviously. He's indoor, so because he's jumps high, he can get his right arm here as he's coming off the ground, and then be able to pull back and down and then come back up and hit the ball. He has enough time to do that. If you're not a big jumper, you can't leave the ground with your arm here because you're not going to have enough time to pull back and then go up and over the top. So the difference when you're not a high jumper is when you leave the ground, your elbow has to be already further back, okay? Significantly further back. And I'll touch on that in another video. Okay, but this guy jumps really high. He gets here, he pulls back, very similar to David Oman of the Swedish team. And the reason I call this a circular is because when you look at this position, his palm is down, yeah? His palm is down. If his palm were pointed out, then it would be a bow and arrow, okay? So he pulls back and down, and once he gets his elbow all the way back, and I want you to notice something, okay? So he's hitting the ball. He's going to hit the ball on this line right here, okay? So what's interesting is, right, you see how far he pulls his elbow back? Look where his left arm is. His left arm is way in front of him. It's not out on the side, yeah? The only way you can pull your elbow this far back is for your left elbow to be in front of your body. If your left elbow, as a right-handed hitter, is way out on the side, it restricts your right elbow from pulling back, okay? So that's a crucial aspect of this as well. Like, make sure when you jump, if you're going to pull your elbow way back, your left elbow, your non-hitting elbow, when you jump, needs to be in front. See how here we can't even see his left arm? That's because his left arm is way in front of him. It's not out on the side, okay? Okay, so anyway, so he pulls back to here, right? Then what he does is he rotates his elbow to get his fingers up. See that? Now his fingers are up, okay? So you can see here, he doesn't already have a lot of bend in his elbow, right? Here he has max bend in his elbow. So from here to the ball, his elbow is unbending, okay? It's straightening from here to the ball, okay? When you have excessive elbow drive, what happens is you drive your elbow to the ball, your hand lags, and then the last thing that happens is your elbow unhinges and your hand comes through. That is not the case here. If you watch this, right, he gets his hand up, and watch this. You see how he doesn't have a lot of bend in his elbow? Look at that, right? So that's that, and that's that, right? That's not a lot of bend in his elbow as he's coming through. If you see someone with excessive elbow drive, their hand will be back down like that, where the yellow line is, okay? Their forearm will be like that, okay? And then the last thing that happens is their elbow unhinges, and then they hit the ball, okay? But you can see here, he doesn't have a lot of elbow drive. So he's really using his chest and his traps and his shoulder to hit this ball. His tricep unhinging of his elbow is not really involved in generating power here, okay? So then he goes up and over, and you can see here he drives, and look at his impact. You see how far forward his fingers are at impact? His fingers are over the top of the ball at impact, okay? And then he just pounds it straight down. Okay, so a lot of people will say, like, well, can you hit hard like this without elbow drive? Absolutely, you can. It's just different muscle groups, yeah? So obviously this guy pounds this one. David Allman pounds it, right? So don't think that you need elbow drive to pound the ball. You can generate a lot of power without elbow drive if you learn how to swing like this, okay? Because if you look at where he's starting from, his elbow's way back. So his chest is all, right, stretched, and his core is all stretched. So now he's just going up and over, okay? And he's using his core and his chest and his shoulder to hit the ball, and his tricep is really not involved in unhinging his elbow to generate power, okay? So watch this a couple times. I'll play it again in slow motion so you can see the swing, how it looks, yeah? right here. And then if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. Okay, now I'm not saying that my way is the only way or the best way or whatever, but what I am saying is that if you learn how to swing like this without a lot of elbow drive, you're gonna hit with more overspin. And yes, in the beginning when you start to do it, you're not gonna have like you're not gonna feel like you have as much power as if you drive your elbow and unhinge your elbow, but you're gonna hit with way more control. And I feel like on the beach, hitting with control is way more important than hitting with power. Yeah, if you hit with like let's say 85% of the power on the beach that you do indoor, but you have more control and you can aim and you have more overspin and you keep it in the court more, that's going to be more effective for you in helping you win and be effective offensively. Okay, but if you have any questions, post them in the comments.